You should have watched the video, yeah? Well, everybody listening, everybody tuning in at home. Um, uh, but is that clear how that what happens, how people accept certain technologies at different stages, right? Sometimes there's more, sometimes there's less, or sometimes it goes by faster, sometimes it goes by slower. What do you think, like what, I don't know, when it comes to new technologies, where do you think you sit, Will?
Where do I sit?
Yeah, are you an innovator? Are you an early adopter? Do you have to wait for other people to kind of accept? What's something new that came out recently?
I don't buy a lot of stuff,
Okay.
so I would say I'm probably early, late majority because
Okay.
I don't like, I just don't buy stuff as soon as it comes out.
Got it. So you'll wait until somebody's buying something you see, oh yeah, that's good, I'll get it.
Until what I have is
Doesn't work or something.
yeah, exactly.
But then when you make that decision to buy something new, how do you make that decision?
Reviews, stuff like that.
So you are kind of late majority because they've already decided. Now you're just looking at evidence. Okay. Okay. So there are, sorry, flipping through the screen. So there are four different ways that, or four kind of elements that these ideas can be spread or that they can be used. If the innovation itself is actually really important, like, wow, that's really cool. Okay, now I see it, now I decide to accept it. How it's being communicated, how long it takes, and then also social systems affect how somebody adopts certain things. So in Will's case, when he was talking about, oh yeah, I only accept it or I only do it if my existing ones have broken, that's an example of just the innovation itself. Yeah? So that change that's what's letting him adopt it, is the innovation itself. So even though this one's from last year, do you think smartphones, what stage are they in that adoption cycle?
Smartphones in general, or just the new
Sorry, not smartphones, smartwatches.
smartwatches?
Yeah.
I think they're right in the middle.
They're right in the middle. So they've been like pretty well diffused into the market. Do you know a lot of people that have them?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Yeah. Do you think it's going to be different in 5 years' time?
Yep.
You think more and more people will it be less, shorter time, more people will have smartwatches? And why do you think more people would buy? Like why are more people having smartwatches?
I think it's because a lot more companies are developing smartwatches. It used to just be Apple developed the Apple Watch, and then all the others didn't really have an answer. But now there's so many different smartwatches, so it's kind of everybody can choose which one they want.
Cool. So then which of these four do you think you can put your answer in if it's about the companies being developed?
Innovation.
Yeah, innovation.
Huh.
Okay. Yeah. Anything else? Like, do you see it on social media, or is it just a matter of time, or do your friends have them as well too? Smartwatches? Like, if you see that your friend has it, does it make you maybe think, oh, I could buy it? No? Just wondering. All right? So, those four things: innovation itself, communication channels, time, and social systems. So here's just a little bit more description about how consumers adopt that digital watch. It's just kind of what we talked about, but thinking more about it. Okay. The other part of it too is there are certain characteristics that can be considered or that allow people to adopt it more. Relative advantage, compatibility, complexibility, observability, and triability. So all these are related to that particular product. How is it that that person, does it really work for them? Is it some type of new technology that has an advantage over the old ones? Do you see it a lot? Is it advertised a lot? Can you go in and try it to check and see if it's done well, if you can actually use it? Like going into Apple stores or telephone stores where you can try out the new phone, like that helps the person adopt it more or less. Yeah? If they see it, if somebody's wearing it more often, that observability also helps that rate of adoption. Relative advantage, so again, in that technology, if somebody wants it, or if the technology is better, maybe they want to adopt it. Okay? So, you're going to have your next task is going to be think of an example and then look at what are the elements and what are the characteristics of that thing being adopted. So if we take the mobile phone, for example, in 1973, when it was first developed, it was a handhold phone, right? And then slowly, as technology changed and innovation started coming around, more and more people wanted to accept it, yeah? And they found out that it's useful. So as it continued to be more and more useful, then more and more people started adopting it and using the mobile phones. And so now there's more subscriptions, even in the early 2000s, to mobile phones than there are for landlines. So one of those big element or characteristics is the compatibility. So people have figured out, so that's from that list, compatible, yeah. So more and more people have figured out how compatible that technology is, so that's why they've been able to adopt it. And then the other element, or what's important, is if you just look over time, as time goes by, more and more people have wanted to adopt it as well too, okay? So that's taking these characteristics, right? Picking that complex or that compatibility, and then also using that idea of time, so how long it just took time for it to slowly develop, okay? So what I want you to do now, oh, there's another example as well too, Netflix. So it is a good way, a new way to adopt movies, but that's why it refers to relative advantage, because just as a technology, it's a lot better and it's a lot more different than anything else that existed before. Okay, so that's why it's relative advantage. Okay, so what I want you to try to do on the whiteboards, or if you're watching the video, try to find a product, and then think about these two, the characteristics and that elements, and see what affected the way that it was adopted. Okay, can we try? Okay, I'm gonna go back to this.